Hi, I'm Kelvin Han Yi, and this is Film Lab Presents. We're here on the red carpet of Asians on Film Festival in beautiful NoHo, Los Angeles, California. I'm standing here with Elizabeth Sung,
Hello.
Jennifer Betit,
Hello.
and Kelly Portier.
Hi.
Guys, we're standing here, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit about women in the entertainment industry, something that I'm sure all of you know a little bit about. Elizabeth,
Yes.
You've been an actor and a director here in Los Angeles in the film and television industry for quite a few years. You've had a lot of experience. Tell us how you got into this business and maybe some of the things that we might have seen you in the past.
I think I got into the film and television business by default. I started out as a modern dancer. But an injury kind of segued me into acting, and then from there I went to do off-Broadway theaters in New York, and then I came west to do television and film. Some things you might have seen me in. Last year I was in 2 episodes of Shameless, Mike and Molly, and what else? I think that's for last year, and a commercial.
Sure. Terrific. Now, Jennifer Betit, for about a year now, you've been the new president of the Asian American Film Lab. And tell me how you got into that position and what that means to you right now.
Sure. Well, the Asian American Film Lab is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to the promotion and the support of gender and ethnic diversity in film and television. And I think, we all kind of agree there's been a little bit of a lack of diversity in mainstream programming. So about that time, a little bit before that, I had just moved to New York City. The Film Lab is based out of New York, and people, I'm an actress as well. So people said, oh, well, the Film Lab, they run screenings and workshops, and as an actor, you should go. You'll meet writers. You'll get cast. So I said, okay, let's go.
Why not?
So I went and I did some readings, and I'm like, this is great. This is fantastic. Sure. And I started getting more and more and more involved. And then they said, hey, why don't you be president? And I was like, whoa. Right. Okay.
So you were a little bit apprehensive at first, but now you're in a leadership position as a woman in the film industry. Now, you started out as an actor, as a director.
Correct.
I think I worked with you on
on the web series La La Land.
That's right.
Yes.
That you directed and wrote.
Or actually, that Kelly directed, and I did write it. Yes.
Right. Which brings us over to Kelly Portier.
Yeah.
Kelly, we've known each other for a while. Tell us how you got into the entertainment industry and what brings you to it, and why you love this industry.
Oh, just doing make-believe plays as a kid, basically. So got me in the
Doing make-believe.
Yeah, basically.
Well,
and then went to school for it, got a degree in it, and then came out to LA and realized that my degree was nothing like what it was in Los Angeles.
And what did you study?
Studied theater performance.
Okay,
right.
right.
So study being an actor.
Okay.
And then you come out here and you realize what you study is a whole world away from what is actually done and the actual business. And you have to study again and relearn again. So joined some theater companies and ended up doing some acting and then ended up stage managing and doing little bits here and there.
Sure.
And then actually the way I got into directing is because I was writing a play and I asked Jen and another friend of ours to do my reading, and Jen thought I had such a good command of that.
A storytelling sense,
yeah,
let's say.
She actually asked me to direct her first web series.
And a great job that you did with that. You're directing a web series now, right? Tell us a little bit about that. What is that?
It's called Vanity. It's actually, we just aired our first episode of our final season last night.
Now Vanity is a certain genre.
Divanity.
Is a sort of a play on a genre of television.
It is a soap genre.
It's a soap opera.
It is a nighttime soap opera. It's Dynasty. It's Dallas. It's catfights. It's madness. We have a pool every season. Let's put it like that. And there's always people going into being thrown into it in one way or another.
Wow. So Kelly mentioned that the industry was quite different from what she was prepared for in school. You, having worked in this industry for a long time, was it different from what you expected?
Very. When I first started, most of the parts that I got were non-smoke, no lines at
No
all.
lines.
No lines at all. That's where I started, and there were not a whole lot of leading acting roles for both Asian Pacific male and female. So there's no role model.
Right.
So I didn't know where to look in terms of to believe that one day I could be on that big screen. But the industry has changed a lot, and I'm so glad that Kelly and Jen is doing such wonderful job in terms of changing the landscape.
Sure, sure. So Jennifer, she mentioned that there were no role models when she was coming up. Did you feel the same way? And what's wrong with that? Is that a bad thing to not have role models for our community?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because what it does is the mainstream media, it can, if all we see is one particular race, it can perpetuate stereotypes, often negative stereotypes.
Absolutely.
And it can also perpetuate the misperception of non-white people as the quote other, as
Sure, sure,
non-American, as not belonging. You know, the Film Lab runs a filmmaking competition every year, and we have a production arm to produce content. And we brought in one of the female filmmakers, actually, who won the competition in 2012. And we said, why did you become a filmmaker? And she said, well, you know, I became a filmmaker because when I was growing up, I didn't see faces like mine
Right.
on television or in the movies, and it made me feel very alone. It made me feel like I was a guest in my own country, like I belonged nowhere. And so what we're trying to do now is to change that, because media is power, film is power, television is power. And if we can create the diversity that is our country on the screen, we can, you know, create a very happy world for little children like that girl.
I know that, Elizabeth, we talked a little bit before about some of the people that you saw leading the way, breaking down doors, breaking through glass ceilings or bamboo ceilings, as it were. Can you speak a little bit about that? And some of the people that inspired you throughout the years?
Well, I have to say, Calvin, you're one of those people that inspired me. When you were the lead actor in The Great Wall, up till that moment, I have not seen an Asian Pacific young actor being the lead actor, telling that story on a big screen. It influenced me so much. And then later on, we have Joan Chen, we have John Lone, we have more and more. And then I begin to feel like I can dream bigger. I can do this when I see role models up there doing it. And when we have Ang Lee,
Yes.
you know, winning all those amazing awards, I said yes.
Justin Lin.
Lin, you know, and all these upcoming like Asian Pacific new filmmakers, and as well as Kelly, like female directors, and Jen, like writer, producer. It really inspired me to work harder, saying that this is possible.
Fantastic, fantastic. Kelly, we're talking here about inclusion and diversity. You're a woman coming into kind of a male-dominated industry. Whenever I'm on a set, I see a lot of women in support positions, but I don't see a lot of women, for instance, as department heads, unless they're, you know, makeup, you know, hairdressing,
Yeah.
or something like that. Tell me about what inspires you and where you see yourself going. What kind of an industry you see yourself going into?
Well, actually, it's really funny because I was thinking about this the other day because I was watching all these different movies. Actually, I was watching Point Break. I'm not going to lie, and I was
You
thinking,
were watching Point
I
Break.
was. It was hilarious.
All right, no, it's great. It's a lot of funny. Yeah, it's
but
a funny
the thing
film.
is, did you know that Catherine Bigelow directed
Yes.
Point Break?
Yes. That was
So
her first film.
That was
Yeah.
her first film. So, you know, and of course, ever since Catherine Bigelow won the Oscar, I've just been like so inspired by the fact that, as growing up as a child, I had never seen a woman win an Oscar for anything other than
Right.
an actress,
Right.
or maybe costume, you know, or maybe makeup. And that is all you ever see a woman on stage for when they're winning Oscars or winning awards of some kind. Nothing wrong with those awards, but seeing her get up there and accept the Best
Sure.
Director for a war film,
Sure.
and then going back and looking at her resume and seeing that the predominant part of her resume has been action movies and male-centered driven action movies was just sort of a wake-up call for me, because I love action, I love stunts, I love doing stunts, I love performing them and choreographing them. So the idea of
That a woman that can cross into...
Basically, you know, because I love, you know, women who direct movies and they're very women-centered. I love those, they're beautiful, and they speak to our gender. You know, they do represent different aspects of our gender. But at the same time, to be out there and be like, she can play with all the men in their field
Right.
was awesome.
So, guys, going off what Kelly just said, do you think that there's a difference between men's storytelling and women's storytelling? Is there a difference? And why don't you see more women in leadership positions in this industry? Jennifer, as the new president of the Asian American Film Lab, how do you speak to that?
I think it actually goes back to sort of cultural constructions that we are sort of born with, these messages that get sent to us sort of subconsciously over and over again. You know, for example, Elizabeth was saying, I didn't think I could be in a lead role. Why would I think that? Until I saw you, and all of a sudden I thought, oh wow, an Asian American in a lead role, amazing, I can do it. But before, all she saw was not that. And so she just assumed I can't do it, which is what we all do, kind of like the other filmmaker who said, I never saw myself. And so that, you know, which is another reason why the media is so very powerful.
You know, I always say that I think storytelling is the most important thing that human beings do. Maybe math is second because it builds things, it sends us to the moon. But storytelling gives us culture, it gives us religion, it gives us our humanity. It reminds us of who we are, yeah?
Absolutely.
So the Asian American Film Lab is all about that kind of storytelling and giving access to everybody to tell their stories. How are you going to be doing that? Do you have a vision coming into this organization as to how to make that happen?
Absolutely. So one thing that we do that we've done for 9 years is the 72-hour shootout, which is a filmmaking competition. You know, we've had judges like Russell Simmons, like Marcy Phillips, Teddy Z, David Henry Huang, you know, all kinds of amazing
bunch of cool people.
A bunch of really
really cool people.
You know, I'm going to be a judge. No, I'm just kidding.
Beautiful and cool people. Yeah.
But you know, that's one way, and we ask some of the judges will mentor the winners, try to get them distribution, help them move on. So that's one way to sort of bring up the next wave of talent. But then the next thing we're doing is we just launched a production arm, because one thing we were trying to fight is this notion of so-called non-traditional casting.
Yes.
Meaning that when pilots come in, when films come in, and it's a contemporary American show, and they say, okay, we're going to cast, and there are all these roles that when you look out into our country, it's very diverse, very cosmopolitan, could be anybody, could be any color. But the default casting always seems to be white.
Right.
And when a person of color is cast, it's like non-traditional. Oh, it's the special.
So you're talking about the lawyer or the doctor or the construction worker or whoever it may be.
Whoever.
Right?
And so we got a little tired of complaining about it, and we decided to put our money where our mouth was. So we launched our own production arm, AAFL TV, and we started producing web content where we tried to take gender roles and race roles and break them. Just turn them on their heads and make sure everything was very diverse and very, just play with racial and social constructions and all kinds of things. And it looked pretty good. And we pitched actually to New York City media, and we got picked up for a series of programming. We're gonna start airing on March 5th. At 10 p.m., tune in. Film Lab Presents, which will be a showcase of bold, innovative, and deliciously diverse contemporary American content that should appeal to a mass audience. It has people of Asian descent, of African descent, of European descent, you know.
But it's not kind of like an R club and you can't come in kind of a thing. It's meant to cross over audience-wise, right?
Yes, it's meant to say what brings us together. Not what separates us, but what brings us together. And for many of us, that is our nationality. And so we say, all right, this is American content. And America is a very diverse place, and let's celebrate that diversity. Let's be proud of that diversity. Here it is.
Can you tell us a little bit about the 72-hour shootout, what it's all about, and how you get involved in this?
Sure. So the 72-hour shootout is a global filmmaking competition. Anybody can get involved. Registration usually begins about March 1st. And we run a series of how-to filmmaking workshops. We have written materials for people that can't attend. A lot of the workshops are in New York. We also live stream for the people in LA or elsewhere. And then we have a big launch party in the summer where we announce a party. Yay!
Now you got my attention.
And we announce the theme of the 72-hour shootout there. So the filmmakers have 72 hours within which to write, direct, shoot, edit, score, everything.
The whole thing happens in 72 hours, right?
In 72 hours, based on this common theme. So the theme is to kind of keep people honest, right?
Sure.
And
so that they can't prepare ahead of time, right?
Exactly.
So you kind of let them know what the theme is, like right at the beginning
and then
of it.
Literally, the clock starts ticking.
The clock starts ticking. That's so exciting, right?
And so we encourage the filmmakers to be as diverse as possible, both in crewing and casting. And then there is a requirement that at least one lead actor and one principal crew member, like a writer, an director, producer, must be of Asian descent.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Sounds great to me. What else is Asian American Film Lab up to, and what else are you doing?
Sure. So we run monthly programs ranging for writers, directors, editors, just sort of, if it's entertainment, we do it. So
You're good.
we run screenings, seminars, workshops, Q&As, production things. The most recent event we had last month, we had Kenneth Lin, who's a writer for House of Cards, Selena Cipriacio, who's a writer for All My Children, and
Wow.
yeah, and then Trayvon Free, who is a writer for The Daily Show, and they came in and did, with the help of the Writers Guild East, and they gave a free seminar to our members talking about, how they broke into the industry, what it's like to be either a woman or a minority in the industry.
Wow.
Trayvon Free is African American, Kenneth Lin is Asian American, Selena, I think she's Filipina, but she's obviously a woman.
So what you're saying is, I don't need no film school, right? Because
We've got the film lab.
Right. It seems
Exactly.
it seems like you've got all of the tools
And we
that
just
people
lost
need.
our school sponsors. So.
Oh well, schools.
kidding.
We need sponsors out there.
Education is important.
And Jennifer
Yeah, school is cool.
Jennifer was just talking about taking the power of the filmmaking industry and putting it into your own hands. I always feel like a lot of the film industry is tied up. The corporations own the distribution, they own the theaters, but that's changing, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of content is going online and different platforms. What do you see as being the future of storytelling and how we tell stories in film and television?
Oh, it's so much more fluid now. It is
Okay.
amazing. I mean, literally anybody with a camera and a computer
Right.
can make a movie. Now, mind you, that's not always a good thing. But the thing of it is, though, is that anybody, you don't have to have studio backing. You don't have to have, millions of dollars. You can have $500 and a camera and some dedicated crew.
And make it happen and tell a
you
story.
can make really interesting stories.
Sure,
It
sure
just
you
has to be a good story. I think that's maybe the misconception on the internet these days. You
Uh-huh.
can put any video up and it'll be amazing.
Not so true.
necessarily.
Yeah.
If you can get out there and if you can find a story that will touch people and tell something that is real and truthful about any gender, any nationality, any race, sex, creed, code, whatever, people out there will relate to it and they will find it and they will come. And it's just a matter of telling a powerful, good story. And I really think that anybody can do that. You don't need to have a multi-million-dollar corporation. You don't need to have a really, school background necessarily. You just have to have a passion to tell. And the great thing is that with the internet and with all these cameras coming down and being so much more inexpensive nowadays, anybody can tell any story that they want.
Elizabeth, sort of in the same vein, how do you see this film industry changing, and how has it changed for you since in 1986 you were in China with Beulah Kuo making a co-production film with France and China over there? How have things changed, and especially for women in the entertainment industry?
I just see, for one, that because of the whole digital revolution, it has narrowed the gap. It has opened so many doors of possibility and opportunity that we don't have to wait anymore, that it's no longer gender-based. It's about, do you have a story? As Kelly said, do you have a good story? And then you can make it. And it has become much more global. I don't see the division. This is, America, we can only make it in America. I see the exchange of talent between countries. And that's the exciting part, that language is no longer a barrier, or even geography is no longer a barrier.
Geography, time, age, no longer a barrier, right? Elizabeth, can you tell us a little bit about what you might be working on right now, what we can maybe look forward to seeing you in the near future?
Still a little bit too early to say, but my husband and I, we both went to the American Film Institute. We are working on some web series, fun web series.
That's exciting. So you're doing you're doing what you're preaching.
Yes.
Right. Kelly, what advice can you give a young woman maybe coming into this industry who wants to be a director like you are?
Honestly, I think the best advice is just to not be intimidated and think you can't do it. Because actually, it's funny, Jen and I were just talking the other day about this. The only reason I got into this side of the business was because she asked me to. She gave me a chance, and I didn't know a thing about it. And I was like, yeah, okay. And then the next person, another friend of mine who I work on with Divinity with, said, I just want you to work on this with me. I don't know very much about directing at that point at all, but I was like, yes, okay. You learn as you go, and
Sure.
you just have to, when somebody offers you a chance, that is so rare. You have to grab it and take it. And if you don't get offered a chance, you have to make your own. You just have to get people around you who are supportive and who will help you and who will encourage you. And you don't need necessarily to be given a chance. You just have to take it and make it.
Well, Kelly, I got to say, you've inspired me in the years that I've known you, because you always seem like a courageous person, a brave person who's willing to go in there and work really hard. And I think that's what it takes. Jennifer, any advice you can give young people, young women coming into this industry?
I don't think I can give any advice better than what Kelly and Elizabeth have just said. I think that when you're offered opportunities, take them, run with them, do the best you can possibly do. And don't, I think a lot of people will sometimes turn up, that opportunity is not good enough for me.
Right.
You can make the opportunity good enough for you. Like, take any opportunity you can to create art, to be a part of this wonderful tapestry. Take it, run with it, and do it, and honor yourself and honor those with whom you work. Just be respectful.
Yes.
And be proud of your craft.
You know what? I want to really just touch upon what she started on, Elizabeth. What is the attitude? How do you approach this industry? How do you approach the work? Because when you want to take opportunities, it's got to be kind of a selfless kind of a thing, isn't it? Can you speak a little bit about that?
I think it's all based on the give and take
Yes.
concept, that when you give, you can also take. But in the meantime, this is a mutually supportive type of an industry. You can't do it by yourself. You need people. It's a collaborative effort. So in that sense, it's a lot of fun. When you meet the right people, you have the right story, you just go.
It certainly is. All of us, the four of us, have had a lot of fun in the past working on telling stories and collaborating together. Jennifer, let's just close this up by telling people how they can get involved with the 72-hour shootout, and also some of the things that we can expect in the next year from Asian American Film Lab.
Absolutely. So March 1st, you can go online, www.film-lab.org, and you can start registering. We'll have early bird registration opening up March 1st for the 72-hour shootout. And compete, come out, come to the festivals and do it. It's so much fun. And then the other thing is the new production arm. Please tune in on March 5th when Film Lab Presents premieres. Submit your own stuff for Film Lab Presents. We'd love to see it. Maybe we can air it. It would be amazing. We really, yeah. Go ahead.
Where can we tune in to Film Lab Presents?
So it'll be on, depends on your provider, but it's channel 25 for Verizon Fios. I believe it's channel 22 on Cablevision. And we'll be posting it all on facebook.com/AAFLTV. And that's the fan page for the television, the production arm. And then if you have any questions, you can always email us, info@film-lab.org. And yeah, just tune in, because just by watching the show, or even just telling the network that you like it, that you're happy, that you're glad to see diverse faces, will be very, very meaningful. Because the industry is very risk averse. There is this sort of misperception that if a show stars a person of, say, Asian descent, that it won't do well. And so we really need you. We really need everybody to watch the shows, enjoy them. It's fun. It's a fun thing to do. But just by watching it, just by enjoying a good show, you've made a statement. And in a small way, but a very, very meaningful way, you are changing the fabric of American society for the better, which is huge.
Thank you so much. That was very inspiring. You have all inspired me so much, and I appreciate you talking with us. Once again, thank you, Jennifer Betit.
Thank you, Kelvin.
Elizabeth Sung.
Thank you, Calvin.
And Kelly Portier.
Thanks, Calvin.
And I'm Kelvin Han Yi. And this is Film Lab Presents, and we're coming to you from Asians on Film Festival. See you next time.